Football is back, and week one, it starts off with the Battle of Florida between Miami Dolphins and the Jacksonville Jaguars, North versus South. It is a Florida derby of football, ladies and gentlemen. And like I said in the preview, it is going to be a tough match, especially with the defense and Trevor Lawrence having himself a number against Tua. But, man, with this game alone, this had a lot of mixed feelings. First off, the first half versus second half, and a major difference between those two halves from each Florida team. So it's absolutely crazy. With the counterparts of Florida, Jacksonville, they came out strong. They had a good start, and the Dolphins had a very slow one. In the first half alone, they looked discombobulated. Okay? They had a shaky first half, and eventually the second half, they got it going, especially on the defense. But we shall talk about each play that happens. Trevor Lawrence versus Tua. And it starts off with the Dolphins ball, as it was a turnover on down. Welcome back, Raheem Mostert. Mostert starts off with a rush with no gain. 2nd and 10 with a Achane losing 3 yards, being tackled by Johnson or Lloyd rather, and thankfully ESPN shows who is tackling and what is happening between the NFL and college sports. That's why I love covering NFL better. And no offense. Anyway, 3rd and 13 at the Miami 17. Tua's first pass of the season goes to Achane, and that goes for 39 yards. A great play by Tua and a good catch, rush play by Achane. 1st and 10 at the Jacksonville side. Tua gets sacked for no yards, so technically it's no gain anyway. 2nd and 10, Tua's pass short to Tyreek Hill, which in the preview I did talk a little bit about the fact that he was detained and not arrested. People say he was arrested, he was detained. Of course, there's going to be an investigation of what really went down, but that's a totally different story. So Tyreek Hill is not straight, and I can understand that. That was a really bad situation that happened this morning. But a good play, good pass, or good catch rather. 3rd and 8 pass is incomplete. That ball was overthrown. Yes, I know the ball was overthrown. And 4th and 8, Mike McDaniel, as aggressive as he is, decides to go for it, and it was incomplete. So Berrios couldn't hold on to it as it was a turnover on downs. Jacksonville's first possession of the season. It is a 3 and out, but not before Calais Campbell. Jesus, he can still sack and still make a tackle, dude. It's crazy. First play from Trevor Lawrence. It is a 13-yard sack from Calais Campbell. That starts off our defense. Amazing defensive start there. And in the very next play, ETN, their running back, loses a yard with another amazing tackle by Calais Campbell. 3rd and 24 now. Pass is incomplete to Evan Ingram. I think it's Evan Ingram. In deep down the middle, nothing there. And then they punt it away. 3 and out. Amazing defensive work. Next possession, Dolphins side. Tua's pass short right to Achane. 2nd and 5. I'm sorry. Mostert rushed for 5 yards. 2nd and 5, then pass at Achane for 3 yards. 3rd and 2, pass right to Tyreek Hill for 10 yards. 1st and 10, pass incomplete, which is that could have been a touchdown. I know the ball was overthrown. I know. All right. And there's already this that's been going on for years with Tua. One side, they got the Tua haters saying, "I hope you're happy the fact that he's being paid this amount of money." You assholes, regarding those who have faith in Tua. And then on one side, you have Tua fans saying, "I know he's having some of an off game. It's a shaky feeling, but he's going to get better." Those are the two division sides. Anyway, Second and 10, another incomplete pass. Third and 10, Miami calls timeout. Third and 10, pass once again incomplete to Tyreek Hill. Penalty. It's an offside penalty on Smith. He was lined up over the neutral zone. Yeah. So the penalty was declined. Bailey punts for 47 yards, all the way to Jacksonville 4. So Jacksonville's drive, Bigsby, whatever. He goes right and gets 17 yards out of this play. And then Bigsby with another 7 yards. 2nd and 3. Trevor Lawrence pass deep left for Davis. Pass is complete for 20 yards. Great. Defense is being shaky there. Trevor Lawrence scrambles for 8 yards. After the ETN rushing for 3 yards, that gets for a first down. Trevor Lawrence pass incomplete to Thomas. Penalty was on Miami. Jalen Ramsey got there too early, held on to the receiver. Thomas too early. Yes, that is a warranted call. I know. I'm not arguing with that penalty, and I'm like, stop committing penalties already. Like, really, that is a costly penalty. It's a 40-yard penalty. And then, very next play, ETN, 1 yard, all it took to get their first points of the season. And Jacksonville takes the first points as extra point is good. Little. 7-0 North Florida. Well, actually, technically speaking, North Florida Ospreys. That's in Jacksonville, right? Anyway. Jacksonville Jaguars takes 7-0 lead to start the game. Possession, Achane losing a yard, 2nd 11. They were 2nd 11. Oh, excuse me. Yeah, 2nd 11. Tua scrambles, that gets in the first down, but the penalty was called on Robert Jones, or was it Robert Jones? I forgot. Who cares? He gets a hold, backs him up. Tua short pass to Smith for 7 yards. 3rd and 14, pass was short to Tyreek Hill for 10 yards. 4th and 4, punting it away. Jacksonville's side of things, ETN with 4 yards. 2nd and 6, Trevor Lawrence pass complete to Thomas for 6 yards. 1st and 10, ETN gets 1 yard. That will be the end of the first quarter. Second quarter starts. Trevor Lawrence pass incomplete to ETN. 3rd and 9, Trevor Lawrence pass incomplete to Kirk, and Jacksonville had to punt it away. So, good defense stop there. Then next possession is the Dolphins' turn. Tua pass short right to Jalen Waddle, who after that play got hurt. Pass short right to Jalen Waddle for 12 yards. That gets on the first down. He got hit right here as he was coming down. Was shaky a bit, but he was able to get back on his feet very quickly. However, because what happened with Tua 2 years ago, if you remember when he got slammed on his back of the head right there against Cincinnati, that's how the concussion protocol is being enforced now. And Waddle's frustration, he has to come out and get evaluated. It's so ridiculous, but I understand why they would do it. They focus on concussion thing, which I totally get. I'm all for preventing concussions, but then it makes me question, what about the Achilles? Just saying. Anyway, Waddle had to come out of the game for a while. First and 10 after that is incomplete pass to Smythe. Smythe had an awful game. I'm sorry. 2nd and 10, pass short left to Barrios for 2 yards. Penalty would be on Jacksonville for an offside. That gives them 5 yards. 2nd and 5 now. Achane goes up the right for 2 yards. 3rd and 3, timeout Miami. 3rd and 3, nowhere to go for Achane with no gain. Jacksonville's defense has a really good pass rush. They do. They're stopping the run, and it's so frustrating. I'm like, what the? So we go for a 4th down, and Tua's pass was off with Barrios, and we turn over on downs at Jacksonville's 45. And it's bad. It's bad. It's really bad. Jacksonville takes advantage of the turnover on downs. Bixby with an 8-yard rush, 2nd and 2. Bixby goes up the middle, losing a yard, gets tackled by Bell. 3rd and 3, penalty would be a false start on Robinson. 3rd and 8, timeouts been called on for Jacksonville. And a 3rd and 8 pass deep right to Kirk for 30 yards. Wow, he was wide open on that one too. 1st and 10 at the Miami 23 from the Jacksonville 47. Pass short left to Thomas for 9 yards, 2nd and 1. ETN for a yard, that gives him the first. ETN next play goes up for 2 yards, 2nd and 8. Trevor Lawrence short pass middle for ETN for 3 yards. 3rd and 5, penalty on Jacksonville for delay of game. That didn't matter anyway. That puts them back at the Miami 14, and next play Thomas caught the football from Trevor Lawrence for 14 yards. It used to be 13, but it's 14 yards. Either way, who cares? They score another touchdown for Jacksonville to make it 14-0 after the little extra point is good. 14-0 Jacksonville to start the season. Not good at all. Next possession, Tua starts off with a pass right to Achane for 16 yards. Good start of that possession. Then the next pass is incomplete to Robertson Harris, which was a defender. Pass incomplete. Who cares? Cisco gets hurt on that play. He would return eventually. 2nd and 10 after the Miami used their 3rd timeout. Tua scrambles for 11 yards. Great run by Tua. He's finally stepping up and finally running for himself. That's great. Incredible. First and 10, Mostert goes up for 2 yards. 2nd and 8, Tua pass incomplete, Durham Smythe. 3rd and 8, pass complete deep right to Jalen Waddle for 20 yards. Awesome. 1st and 10, Tua's pass incomplete to Smythe once again. 2nd and 10, Achane goes up the right for 9 yards. Cisco would return for this possession. Penalty would be on Smythe for false starts. 3rd and 5, though. Tua pass short right for Tyreek Hill for 10 yards. They're at the Jacksonville 6. And that's awesome. 2-minute warning. Coming out of 2-minute warning, Jalen Waddle goes left for 3 yards. 2nd and goal, Tua pass short left for Achane. That could have been a touchdown. It should have been a touchdown. That was close. They didn't even go for review, even though I feel like they should have went for review. But in the end, it didn't matter because the very next play, Achane finds that tiny hole to go up and then scores their first touchdown of the Dolphins season. Dolphins finally score to make it 14-7. Sanders' kick is good, and we are down by 7. We cut the lead in half. Now the next possession, Jacksonville is incredibly frustrating for Anthony Weaver. They're throwing the ball deep, and their receivers are catching. That is not great at all. Lawrence deep pass to Thomas is good for 18 yards. 1st and 10, no huddle because they want to save that timeout. Trevor Lawrence pass short middle for Davis is 20 yards. Then they use their final timeout. Couple of plays with short pass to Ingram for 5 yards. 2nd and 5, no huddle, pass incomplete to Ingram. 3rd and 5, Trevor Lawrence intentionally throws an incomplete pass, going out of the pocket to throw the ball at the right to milk some clock. And then Little kicks a 53-yarder to make it a 17-7 game for Jacksonville, and that is halftime. And I'm thinking to myself, we gotta wake up. We have to wake up. And whatever halftime talk happened with Mike McDaniel and the team, it woke up the Miami Dolphins. And I'll explain it when the time comes. 3rd quarter, we gave up 17 points so far. First possession of Jacksonville is a 3-and-out. That's a good start for the defense. Bixby goes up the right for 2 yards, 2nd and 8. pass complete to Washington for 3 yards. 3rd and 5, incomplete, punt. Tua, the Dolphins now pass short right to Hill. Julian Hill for 6 yards. 2nd and 4, pass short middle for Waddle. And I'm just thinking to myself, why are we throwing short passes when especially behind like a screenplay? Just why? And it's not like it's a one or two things. It's mostly all game long. 3rd and 3, short pass up to Mostert for 3 yards. They gave him the first down. 1st and 10, Mostert goes up the left for 11 yards. That would have been great, except penalty on the Dolphins. I'm like, what are we doing? So that backs them up 10 yards. 1st and 20, pass incomplete to Tyreek Hill. 2nd and 20, pass is complete to Achane for 7 yards. 3rd and 13, Tua gets sacked. That one tiny touch from Armstead is enough to bring him down. Great. So they punt. So the Dolphins had to punt it. Fortunately, though, Jacksonville with the 3 and out against them. Trevor Lawrence pass incomplete to Kirk. 2nd and 10, ETN with no gain. Penalty would be on Jacksonville for an offensive hold. That backs him up 10 yards. ETN goes up the middle for 7 yards. 3rd and 13, incomplete pass to right. 3 and out. 4 plays, though, now for Miami. And then, Tua's pass deep right to Jalen Waddle for 63 yards. And an explosive play. Our first 50-plus pass of the season to Jalen Waddle. 63 yards. He would have taken it to the house if Cisco didn't catch him up. So what went wrong? Mostert goes left. He loses 3 yards. Tua's short pass to Hill, losing another 3 yards. There would be a timeout, official timeout, because I think at that point, one of the referees got hurt. I think what happened was, when Darby was trying to make a tackle against Tyreek Hill, his football cleat may have grazed the referee's arm, which is a total accident, but he had to get some attention for a little bit. Anyway, 3rd and 16, Tua gets sacked 14 yards. You gotta be joking me. We were at the Jacksonville 26 to going back 20 yards or 30 yards. Wait, is it 30? No, 20 yards. That is ludicrous. Ludicrous. That should never happened, but it did. And I'm so upset that this happened. I really am upset that this happened. Chris Grier says, do not worry about the offensive line. Well, even though we won the game, I'm still worried about our offensive line. What should have been a scoring possession ends up being a punt. And it's bullshit. Next possession, Bigsby goes up right for 26 yards. I'm like, great. And that was at the Jacksonville 3 that goes to the 29. Trevor Lawrence pass deep right to Davis for 22 yards. That goes to the Miami side of the field. Trevor Lawrence pass short left to ETN for 12 yards. 1st and 10, Bigsby goes up to the left or right to 7 yards. 2nd and 3, Duvernay goes up the left for 3 yards. There will be a penalty on Jordan Boyer for a face mask. I mean, that is clear and obvious. And then his hands get stuck in the face mask too, but still, that's 14 yards, 15 yards penalty. But the very next play, this defensive play changed the landscape of the game. That completely shifted the momentum for the Dolphins for the rest of the game. Pass complete, that wasn't a pass. Running play for ETN, goes up the right for 10 plus yards. Once he gets to the 3, I'm thinking he's going to score. He's going to make it 24-7 at this point, right? What should have been the scoring play for Jacksonville, Javon Holland punches the football out with some sort of desperation to one final attempt to punch that football out of ETN's hands. And it worked. The ball popped loose, and I think it was Kader Kohu who recovered the football. Yeah, it was Kader Cole who recovered the football at the end zone, which would be by rule a touchback for the Miami Dolphins. What a defensive play and what a game-changing play this turned out to be. And I'll tell you why in a minute. He punched the football out. Kohu recovers it. Miami gets the football back. What could have been 24-7, the score is still 17-7. And then the very next play, after the fumble recovery, very first play of this possession, Tua pass very deep to Tyreek Hill. Tyreek Hill catch the football. He goes left. 2 defenders are on him, and he would wind up staying in bounds. Tyreek Hill is gone for 80 yards. You hear Kevin Harlan, he's got Hill call. That first pass is a touchdown. 80 freaking yards. Tyreek Hill has made it. Incredible. What a touchdown that was. And then he makes this handcuff, detained, arrested Selly. Yeah, that'll show them. I mean, that's hilarious as it is. That was an incredible play. Sanders kicks a PAT, and just like that, what could have been 24-7 is now 17-14. Incredible shift of momentum for the rest of the game for the Miami Dolphins, folks. Next possession now. Jacksonville just scrambled. I'm like, what just happened? Bixby goes up the middle for 2 yards, 2nd and 8. ETN for 7 yards, 3rd and 1. Nowhere to go for Bixby. That ends the third quarter. And Doug Peterson decides to go for it on 4th down at their own 32. Even the announcers was like, why are they doing this at their own 32? ETN with the football, goes left, scrambles to the right, nowhere to go. Nowhere to go with the football. The defense, our defense was right there, and ultimately Fuller and Ramsey were able, and Ramsey's a former Jaguar, so he knows a thing or two about the Jaguars. Stopped ETN for progressing further, and it was an amazing defensive stop against the Jaguars. ETN goes left, has to find a way to try to find a lane to get to the first down. Then he scrambles right, and I keep saying, get him, get him, get him. And they eventually did. We had excellent field position. Excellent field position. Achane goes left for 7 yards, 2nd and 3. Tua pass incomplete to Ingles, 3rd and 3. Mostert goes right for losing a yard. They could have gotten a better opportunity. Chase Sanders kicks a field goal, and this was one of the worst kicks ever. That kick, a 42-yard, which is reasonable to make for James Sanders, but that kick went way too far left, or depending where the camera is. But that went so far left, nowhere near the goalpost. I'm like, are you kidding me? I'm literally pissed off that this happened. Literally. Because that was our perfect chance to score, and we didn't capitalize, and that's what was frustrating enough for the rest of the game. This would have been a game-time field goal, and it wasn't. But that's okay, though, because the next possession, the defense still did their part. Tua pass short middle for Ingram for 6 yards. Penalty would be on Miami for defensive hold or defensive offside. They accepted the penalty, which that 6-yard play would not count. Interesting. Either way, that didn't matter because ETN would get 11 yards the next play. Go figure. 1st and 10, Bixby goes left for 4. 2nd and 6, Bixby goes right for a yard. 3rd and 5, Trevor Lawrence pass incomplete. Then they have to punt. Penalty would be on Jacksonville for a false start. So that backs them up 5 yards. And then punting away. this is an important drive for the Dolphins. They have to start at their own 8. Achane goes left for 6 yards, 2nd and 4. Tua passes incomplete to Waddle, but there was a very early hit from Campbell, and they both went down. Well, Campbell went down, but either way, by rule, that is a pass interference. That ball was going to be catchable, but that hindered them from making an effort. So that's pass interference. That's a 20-yard penalty. Tua pass incomplete to Mostert. 2nd and 10 pass deep right to Tyreek Hill for 21 yards. First down. Mostert goes left for 6 yards. 2nd and 4. Penalty would be on the Dolphins for a false start. Great. 2nd and 9. Jeff Wilson comes in, and he is starting to ball out again. He gets 14 yards in the season debut. 1st and 10. Then Jeff Wilson gets another 6 yards. So he already has 20. Awesome. Then there was some confusion with the Dolphins side. They have to call a timeout. 2nd and 4. Jeff Wilson goes up the middle for 3 more yards. 3rd and 1. The fullback at the Jacksonville 21. The fullback, Ingold, gets 6 yards out of this play, and he was hyped after that play. Awesome to see. Jeff Wilson goes right for 8 yards. However, penalty would be on Tyreek Hill, and this was a late call. I know the call was there. I know the hold was there, but that was extremely late. Extremely late call to make. You basically threw the flag after the play was over. If you threw the flag during and after the hold, then fine. But you did it after the play. That was terrible. I don't like it at all. I understand it. I understand there was a hold, but I don't like how late it was. I just don't. So that backs him up 10 yards. Tua's pass short left for Mostert for 7 yards. 2nd and 13 pass short left for Achane. He loses a yard. 3rd and 14 pass incomplete to Hill. And now I'm having a little bit of anxiety from Jason Sanders because of how horrible the kick was last time. What is going to be this time? 37 yards. This is more manageable than 44 or 40. Yeah, 44. Was it? No, 42. I'm sorry. 5 extra yards than the 42-yarder. But thankfully, he does make this. Thankfully, he does make this field goal, and we are tied. We are tied. Jacksonville still without a point in the second half, and we tied it up with 4 minutes and 22 seconds left. The next possession, Jacksonville, Bixby goes up the middle for nothing. Trevor Lawrence gets sacked by Emmanuel Ogbah. And in the very next play, Trevor Lawrence gets sacked again by Jalen Phillips. Welcome back again, Jalen Phillips. Biggest sacks of the game came at this possession, and it became a 3-and-out for the Jaguars. Penalty for delayed game against the Jaguars that backs him up 5 more yards, and the punt goes all the way to the Miami 35, and Berrios gets tackled by his own teammate, which was like, that's your teammate, bro. So Miami, with the momentum on their side, they have the football. How are they going to do this? 1st and 10, Achane goes up the middle for 4 yards. That takes him to the 2-minute warning. So I'm standing up. I'm going back and forth. I'm like, come on, boys. We got this. We got this. We just got to believe we can. The next play, Tua's pass short middle for Jalen Waddle for 13 yards. That goes to the Jacksonville side of the field. Achane loses a yard for the rush. Timeouts, but now Jacksonville's forced to use their timeouts to have an effort in case if the Dolphins would turn the ball over, they have time to score. The 2nd and 11, pass complete to Achane for 10 yards. 3rd and 1, timeouts were called by Jacksonville. That's their second. And Alec Ingold would get the first down for the Dolphins, which is now mostly it's screwed a lot of players for Jacksonville, and Miami is in business at this point. Jeff Wilson, the next play, goes up for a yard. 2nd and 9. Miami would call a timeout. Jeff Wilson gets 2 more yards. Miami would call their last timeout. And then by this point, their option now is to and then wind down the clock until 4 seconds. They bring out Jason Sanders. Everything is in the hands and feet of Jason Sanders. It is a 52-yard field goal. Before he makes the kick, Jacksonville calls their final timeout. So finally, the kick happens. It's a 52-yarder, and the kick went through the middle of the goalpost. And the Dolphins, with a 14-point comeback against the Jacksonville Jaguars, to become 1-0 of the season, and my personal ultimate revenge against the Jaguars, what they did to us 3 years ago. So I'm happy that's off my shoulders. You can forgive, but can't forget. So I'm happy that this happened. Now they see what we went through, because what we went through, they had the same thing, 50 plus yard field goal to win it. Same thing for us against them. 52 yards, Jason Sanders is good, and we win this game 2017 against the Jaguars from North Florida. South Florida rules, which is I'm happy to say that South Florida rules. Fins up, baby. It's awesome. Dolphins win week 1. They win with a comeback fashion against the Jaguars, and as insane and frustrating as this game was, there's a lot that needs to be addressed. No doubt about it. When we look at the team stats, first downs for Miami is 18, 17 first downs for Jacksonville. We don't need to talk about first downs that much. The third down efficiency for the Dolphins has been really decent. Half of those is third down conversions. Fourth down, none of them were able to get a first down off fourth downs. Total yards for the Dolphins just made it 400 yards on a dot. Not joking. Total yards 400. 267 for Jacksonville. Despite a lot of deep passes, because of two 50-yard plus plays today against the Jaguars with Jalen Waddle and Tyreek Hill, that number boosted up a lot. The passing, 319 passing yards for the Dolphins, 139 passing yards for the Jaguars, despite what I just said. But the rushing, Jacksonville with 128 rushing yards, only 81 rushing yards for the Dolphins. That is, it's only week 1, but that comparing to last year's numbers, that is significantly low. Penalties, 9 penalties against the Dolphins, 8 penalties against the Jaguars. 1 turnover all game long against from the Jaguars, from that 1 fumble that was forced by Javon Holland. And I'm happy that it happened, because that fumble changed everything in this game as we make that 14-point comeback. Quarterback comparison, the box score now. Trevor Lawrence, and I'm starting off with Trevor Lawrence because I want to start this debate again. Yeah, I'm going for trouble because I seen NFL saying the great quarterbacks now. They put Justin Herbert instead of Tua, even though Tua had an explosive year last season, which is unforgivable. Trevor Lawrence, 21 pass attempts and 12 catches, 162 yards thrown, but some of those passes were behind, which is why I don't know why this happened. But that one touchdown pass happened. That one touchdown pass happened with Thomas Jr. So that's why. Tua, 23 catches from 37 attempts, 338 yards. And some of those throws were behind the line, so that's why it's actually 319. 9.1 average. By the way, Trevor Lawrence is 7.7 average. He also has 1 touchdown pass, and that was Tyreek Hill's 80-yard pass. That was it right there. He got detained, but they cannot detain him much longer. Tua gets sacked 3 times, and so did Trevor Lawrence. He got sacked 3 times. When regarding rushing, I mean, Jacksonville's rushing is clearly better. Bixby with 12 carries, 73 yards. ETN had himself a game. He has a touchdown rush in the beginning of the game. Miami's rushing, as much as Achane and Mostert did more carries, Jeff Wilson leads the yards. So Wilson with 26 yards in the game with 5 carries. Achane with 10 carries with 24 yards. Hopefully it improves. Hopefully they figured out the rushing situation this coming Thursday. But Tua got himself some yards with the rushing, which is pretty good. Achane would get a touchdown rush. That was a play in the second quarter. Miami's receiving. Tyreek Hill, of course. 7 receptions, 130 yards. Longest 80, and that 80-yard touchdown to the house happened with that play. Waddle had himself a pretty good game. His longest was 63 yards. That was amazing. Everything else, hopefully they're able to get something in. For Jacksonville's receiving end, Gabe Davis with 3 receptions, 62 yards. Brian Thomas Jr. with a touchdown pass of his own. Kirk, ETN, Evan Ingram, yeah. That one fumble with ETN changed everything. There was also another fumble that was in that kickoff return that happened. Parker Washington fumbled the football, but he was able to recover it back. I thought the Dolphins recovered right then and there, but he recovered it right back. That's why I didn't mention that much after that possession. But we were able to get the football back anyway. Kader Kohou would recover that fumble in that end zone, like I said. Dolphins defense, shaky start, but Anthony Weaver wasn't having it. And in the second half, they prevented Jacksonville from scoring anything. No interceptions at all in this game. So that's where we're going to leave it off. Next game is against Buffalo Bills on Thursday Night Football on Prime. That is a big, even though it's still week 1, this is going to be week 2. Big test this week, and that's going to be a hard rock. So hopefully they will to get some practice in, because it's going to be a short rest, and we need to kick their butts back to Buffalo. So that's going to do it for this one, folks. If you have enjoyed this video, I know I'm sorry there's a long one, but I'm so thrilled that football's back. Hit the like button, subscribe for more content, because Miami teams you guys are back. And when he does, hit it right there with the favorite team you deserve. Fins up. Let's go Dolphins, and I'll see you guys next time. Good night, everybody.